Yeah, face on her.
Who is he?
That's Laura Trump, the daughter-in-law.
It's definitely a step in the right
She
direction.
looks like a
My
Trump.
father-in-law has called for it from the very beginning, and I think all the American people want
With
is
her hair
fairness
darker,
and
hair was really
transparency, and
changed
there's
her
clearly,
hairstyle.
we
It
have
changed
not
her look.
received that in any way, and Donald Trump has
Hair
not
was
been treated
darker,
fairly. It appears to
lighter,
the vast
the blonde,
majority of
more
the
blonde
country.
hair, she's blonde in the
When you
middle.
look at this entire situation, so certainly it is a step in the right direction, but Will, whenever you have,
She's smart too, she's gonna be, maybe
documents
something she's gonna
seized
come
that were
West Virginia.
attorney-client
They want
privilege,
her to
and
be something over there.
absolutely, you know these individuals have perused through them, have checked them out. That is a violation of Donald
You
Trump's
see her more than
constitutional rights. How
than
is
her
that
husband.
acceptable in
Yeah.
any way? So, look, I think to have a third party look into this,
Smart. What happened to the other
certainly
woman, why she
does
left
feel
her?
like we're moving
Five kids.
towards the right direction.
You
But
talking
if
about
none of
Kushner?
these concerns had
The
been
other
cleared
Trump
up,
brother.
then the American
Oh,
people have,
Junior?
what is the justification
No,
still
the older
you'll
one.
have for something like
What's
this
his
to
name?
violate
Don,
something
what was his?
years of jurisprudence
Donald
in
Jr.
America?
That's I
We
said
have
Donald
not seen
Jr.
that, and I think the long run,
He has
you
5
go
kids
in
with his
America
wife
without
separated.
these answers, and
Donald
the
Jr.'s
of
got 5
American
kids?
people,
5 kids,
given
yeah.
the people becoming more and more, the more
He's like a
dangerous
nut,
the
that one.
political
Him and his
attack
wife
on
are
Donald
separated. I
Trump
don't
from
think
men
one is
who may
separated.
be the
Well, he
opponents
looks like sometimes he he talks so fast like he's on cocaine or something.
Yeah, he's a very fast.
He's like like he's gonna have a heart attack.
Yeah, very, very fast. When you do that, something like that, they need to know about it.
Yeah, they would know about it. And, yeah, especially because he talks fast, so they definitely looked into that. You know they did.
Yeah.
But that, you know, Trump is not stupid. Trump, he doesn't let the media. He knows the media is out to get him, so he probably tells his people and his family and everything. Don't you do nothing. Don't you touch nothing. They walk they walk on eggshells. I bet.
That's election interference, is it not? It is election interference. Your reaction, Mark?
They walk on those eggshells.
Well, it's absolutely election interference. I mean, you know the polling, and the polling suggests that had the American people
And at it again.
many would have changed their votes, and likely enough that Joe Biden would not be president of the United States right now. I think it's really fascinating, though, to watch as the same people on the Democrat side who tried to claim that Donald Trump interfered and colluded with the election in 2016 to win actually were okay with social media outlets interfering and colluding in a way, apparently with the FBI, in order to win the election in 2020. It is fascinating to watch this happen, but it's really frightening because, well, this is not how we should operate in the United States of America. This does look like third world stuff. This, along with the Mar-a-Lago raid, people feel really uncomfortable as to where we are in America right now. And man, do we need to get the reins back and give people a lot of confidence, because this is the greatest country in the world, and you can't operate like this.
It's a very scary story of the FBI approaching the largest social media company in the world and manipulating what we can read or think. Great to see you. Oh, are you prepared for this? I told you to prepare for this. Best duet of all.
Well, the best duet of all time, I don't know about that, but I will tell you a duet I would like to see.
Okay.
I fashion myself somewhat of a karaoke aficionado, and I have been singing a lot of Shania Twain lately, so if she would ever have me, I'm just going to throw it out there, and a wish and a prayer. We'll
A
see what
Laura
happens.
Trump, Shania Twain duet coming up. Okay, the request has been made. We can arrange it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You got it.
All right, Pete, over to you. Let's do it. Maybe she's watching. We may have. All right, turning now to a few additional headlines, starting with this. Maryland's highest court ruling Friday that D.C. sniper Lee Boyd Malvo must be resentenced. The ruling follows a U.S. Supreme Court decision on sentencing for minors. Malvo was just 17 in 2002 when he and John Allen Muhammad embarked on a killing spree in the capital region. Malvo received 6 life sentences for the crime. Muhammad was executed in 2009. It remains highly unlikely Malvo will ever be released. And Virginia is set to follow in California's footsteps and ban the sale of gas-powered cars by 2035, although Virginia elected Republican leadership last year. Former Governor Ralph Northam signed legislation tying Virginia to California's emissions regulations. California recently ruling 35% of all cars sold must be electric figure goes up by 68% by 2030 and 100%
By 35, by the year 35, California's gonna close all gas stations, and it's gonna be official. Everything's gonna be electric. Well, how much an electric car is gonna cost is gonna be unbelievable. What are they doing?
Just tell me what to do.
Hey, Will, that's the way to do it this morning. First of all, if you don't get all these tips, just log on to cyberguy.com. We've got them all there for you. But number one, people are freaking out about a viral warning going on Instagram and Twitter. And it says that, hey, your location can be given out, not just your approximate location, but your precise location. So here's what you want to do. Grab your iPhone today, grab your iPad, go in, go to the home screen, hit settings, number one. And you want to make sure, first of all, that your software is updated on your phone before you do any of this stuff. Move on to step two. From that same settings menu, go to privacy. Then let's go to location services. And inside of that, you're going to see a bunch of the apps that are down that your phone has on it. And it's going to show you what it has in terms of how much of your location it's giving out. It might say only while you're using the app. It could say always, which is kind of dangerous. It could say never. Well, on the ones that are always, you want to really dive in there and tap on each one of these apps today. And you just go through them and you say, now wait a minute, why would like the grocery store need to know where I am down to the feet of exactly my location? They don't. So go ahead and turn off that precise location on any of these apps that really have just absolutely no business knowing exactly where you are. That's the freak out this morning. These apps creep into our lives. They figure out exactly where we are. Many of them reselling this data. Well, you want to turn that faucet off, win back some of your privacy. These little tips can save you from just getting bombarded later in life, right? From the kind of exploits that happen. And it's just a simple tweak you want to do today.
Kurt, I just did it, by the way. I'm doing it as we talk. If the app is listed, are there anyone secretly tracking? So I can turn them off. I see it right here, right? Are there any secret trackers? Really quickly?
You know, it's possible that can happen, but the fact that you may not know that it's going on.
Right.
The one little telltale could be that your phone slows down a little bit. That's why I always say use good antivirus protection on each end of your phone, on all of your devices. You'll see a complete review of that stuff. We've also got online at cyberguy.com.
Awesome as always. Thank you so much, Kurt.
Good to see you, Will.
All right, prepare for liftoff. We're live ahead of NASA's test mission.
Yep. Yep.
Hi, everyone. I'm Catherine Harris reporting from CBS News in Washington. Thanks for joining us. Here's a look at the top stories we're tracking right now. A heavily redacted affidavit supporting the FBI search at Mar-a-Lago has been unsealed. What the document does and doesn't reveal about the Justice Department's investigation into former President Donald Trump. The battle over abortion rights continues, with trigger laws being enacted banning the procedure in 11 states. We'll hear from one woman who plans to cross state lines to get one. Plus,
while higher interest rates, slower growth, and softer labor market conditions will bring down inflation, they will also bring some pain to households and businesses.
a stark message from Fed Chair Jerome Powell as the central bank works to cool record inflation. We'll explain what this all means for the future and health of the U.S. economy. And later this hour, our exclusive interview with former Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe, who told us the partially unsealed affidavit doesn't address one of the most central questions about the FBI search. Plus, NASA is set to launch an unmanned rocket to the moon Monday, 50 years after Apollo 11. How the success of Artemis 1 could impact plans for future moon missions. But first, the Justice Department has released the partially redacted affidavit used to authorize the FBI search of former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago home in Florida. A Florida judge ordered the Justice Department to unseal the document by noon Friday. The affidavit argues the search was necessary due to highly classified records found in boxes recovered by the National Archives back in January. Robert Costa is in West Palm Beach, Florida, with the latest.
The redacted affidavit reveals that of the 15 boxes of government records Donald Trump brought with him to Mar-a-Lago and ultimately returned to the archives in January, 14 had classified documents. Some including sensitive information derived from government informants, critical to U.S. intelligence gathering.
That is the linchpin of the entire affidavit. We are talking about materials that could kill people, as well as, of course, reveal sources and methods really undermine our national security.
In total,
That guy's Democratic. Sometimes I like to listen to the Democratic side. These guys are out to lynch this guy. Lynch him. When you listen to Fox, they don't say none of this stuff. It's all like they don't have nothing on him when Fox talks. They talk about lynching him, and they look like they're happy talking about this stuff. Look at them.
HCS.
They're licking their
Which
chops.
is a marking that indicates that information was derived from CIA spies overseas.
Yeah,
The affidavit underscores the
bullshit.
alarm about the possible vulnerability of Trump's waterfront property. A Secret Service source tells CBS News that it is a private club with protection but limited background checks.
See, they wanted to get in there. That's what Fox was saying. They had nothing. They just wanted to get into his place and try to find something to get him. And this is political, total political. And that's what they're gonna fight, political. They don't have nothing to stand on. They need to see something in there that says they got something about killing somebody in Russia or something.
To believe that evidence of obstruction will be found at Trump's property, as well as contraband, fruits of crime.
That's right there is political. They're afraid of him because if he gets back into office, they're all going down. No more money. Because they're all crooks. They are all crooks. This guy he was already rich when he got into office. You know what I'm saying? He was already rich when he got into office. He doesn't even take a salary.
And Robert joins me now with more. Robert, what is the latest on your reporting?
Catherine, we're both following this story here in West Palm Beach, Florida.
Unbelievable.
We're all waiting today to see what the Florida federal judge, Bruce Reinhart, decided, working with prosecutors, to release. And it ended up being an affidavit that was serious in the sense that it gave us more information about the gravity of this investigation. From the Justice Department's perspective, former President Trump had boxes of material that contained highly classified information that could put at risk information derived from human sources or potentially even human sources themselves. So it's unclear about the specifics of how all this played out.
So, Robert, what's next for Trump's legal team?
Trump's legal team, Catherine, is trying to see what their next step is here beyond the filing today to provide more information about the request for a special master. They would still like to see a review of the evidence, to see the evidence return, though it's to be determined if that's going to happen.
And what's the fallout on Capitol Hill?
The fallout on Capitol Hill is that Republicans are on edge about the midterm elections. They're seeing a closer race than previously expected in the Senate and in the House. It's unclear, though, when I talked to Republican strategists today, about how exactly the Trump legal challenges will play politically into the midterms. But it's a new issue that's now hovering over the political scene.
Oh, bullshit. You guys are scared talking shit.
Take on directly in the midterm.
The Republicans are going to take the House.
They're already taking it on directly. You saw President Biden yesterday in Maryland.
President Biden scared shit.
Aligned with former President Trump as semi-fascist.
Oh, yeah, calling everybody megas. I'm getting a mega tattoo, by the way, for that.
The midterms as about the
He
issue
called us all
of
megas.
the Democrats are running.
Yeah, mega means make America great again. That's what it means. It doesn't mean you're in the Ku Klux Klan or you want to kill people. It's not Black Lives Matter or it make America great again.
So, of course, they're running on other issues as well.
You know what that means? That means make gas prices back to normal, inflation down, living life beautiful again. That's what it means. Nothing else. Doesn't mean racism and all that other stupid shit that they want to put in there, that they try to put in there to get votes.
Obstruction of justice, which we've heard
Assholes. You see what they did, right? You see how we're living today? That's why. They do what they do. That's why they're trying to hang this guy. This guy ran the country better than anybody.
Information about why these are at play.
Scared.
A little bit more than we've occurred with respect to the search warrant, they all come down to the same set of facts.
Search
which
warrant,
is
going into the
former
man's
president,
house.
We now know there's probable cause
Trying to
believe,
find something
took
on
out
him.
the
Not only
evidence
were
which
trying to
was
find
not
something on him,
cited,
they're
was
probably
only
trying to get his
given
connections
once
too, to
within
learn how to run the
and
country as
he
good as he
refused
did.
to, and those government documents deal with very important national security issues.
One of the processes that's in play here is that there will be an independent review of the records to understand what the current classification of the records is. Is that going to be a lengthy process? What does it look like?
So, we don't know to the extent how lengthy that process
What?
will be, and I don't mean to obfuscate the question,
When he
but
gets up.
a lot of this, we certainly
When my
know
son
that
gets up, he always has his
anyone-
breakfast.
we know how to classify.
No, I'll make him eggs, but no bread, no roll. He has to play football. He's at a game at 3 o'clock today. No bread.
He went to bed late this time again.
Yeah, but he has to stay in bed and I have to sleep.
Typically have, I think, this type of situation where we have these documents
Why you
that
got
have
that fan on?
such
Freezing
serious
now.
issues. We talked
I had
about
to, I
the
mopped the
fact
floor
that
earlier, so I had to
potentially
keep the fan on there so it
officers
dries.
out there and whether or not their safety would be threatened. We've never had this tranche of documents this much in a place where frankly they're not supposed to be a former president's residence.
Does the affidavit begin to explain this element of urgency, why the FBI took such an extreme step to search the home of a former president?
I think it does, and in fact, I think it shows that the FBI, perhaps if it were dealing with anybody else, would have taken that step more earlier in the process. Of course, not anybody else can have access to these types of documents, but what we really see in the affidavit